Today we will start in crocodile. That's on your stomach with hands on opposite elbows, and you want your chest slightly lifted up, and then your forehead just resting on your forearms. Feet can be turned out, maybe even shoulder distance apart, and then just completely relax. While you're in crocodile, let's talk about our mindfulness topic of the month. So last yoga class, our topic was focusing on our true intentions behind our thoughts. Your goal was to investigate your mind and discover the real thought behind the thought. Whether you were being too hard on yourself or maybe not stepping up to the challenge that you really needed to face. This week, we will explore another meaning of intention. Once we are able to truly understand ourselves, understand our true intention and motives behind our thoughts, words, and actions, we can then make the changes necessary to create and manifest new versions of ourselves and our reality. This is mostly done off the mat, but how we practice this on the mat is to move your body through poses with full awareness, being conscious of your movements, such as maybe you can't chaturanga very well, or maybe you think that you have excellent balance, but maybe you think you have great balance, but you're actually using the wrong muscle groups as a way of compensating. So be aware of these movements to discover what changes you need. Then we'll set a new intention or like a goal. So our new intention, maybe for chaturanga, is to work on your arm strength. Set an intention to be more upright and stable in tree pose. Once you have that intention, then you take the proper action to make the change. Being self-aware, making the adjustments, and staying in alignment with the intention is the key to most things in life. So seek that in your practice today, and it will assist you in other aspects of your life off of the mat. Now let's sit back to child's pose. Hips to your heels, extend your arms out overhead. For every pose, I really want you to bring all of your attention to every part of your body, performing a body scan. So now check in with your feet, your legs, knees, hips, your back, your abdomen, your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Observing yourself is the first step to any type of change or growth. Now walk your hands over to the left side. Continue to check in. Where do you feel the stretch now? How is it different from the position you were in before? And then hands walk over to the right side. What was the difference between the left and the right? And then make your way back to center and come up to your tabletop position. And we'll move into cat-cow, flexing and extending the spine. Again, doing that body scan. Do you feel more open in certain areas? Do you feel tight in certain areas? Where do you need more attention? What needs more stretching? What needs more activation or muscle engagement? Where are you spending too much time? And come back to center. And then curl the toes under. Engage your abdomen and lift the knees up just an inch or two off of the ground, starting to warm up the arms, and you'll really feel the abs start to engage. Also, pay attention to what thoughts come to mind when you're doing a certain pose or certain movement. And lower the knees back down. Take a resting breath. And then once more, make sure the toes are curled under. Lift the knees up. Pull the navel in towards the spine, strong through those arms. Paying attention to the weight of your hands. Making sure you're pressing your fingertips down, the knuckles of the hand down. You're not putting too much pressure on your wrist joint. Use the entire arms to lift and activate. And then drop those knees back down. Now lower your forearms to the floor, interlace the fingers, and then extend the left leg behind you. Straighten that leg, engage the thigh, and then lift the leg up towards the ceiling and then lower it back down, tapping the floor. So it'll go up and down, keeping the legs straight. One thing to pay attention to is your low back, making sure it doesn't move. A lot of times the low back will want to arch when you do this, so really make sure it stays stable and still. This is working the glutes. So when the left leg is lifting up, really engage the left glute muscle. That is the muscle that moves that leg along with the hamstrings. And then go ahead and switch sides over to the right leg. Extend that right leg out, engage the thigh to keep the leg straight. Keep the back still and stable, and that leg lifts up and down. Bringing that leg back down. And let's push back into our first downward facing dog. You can pedal the feet, whatever feels good to warm up in your down dog. Really extend those arms. Do that whole body scan. Listen to what your body needs. Are you putting too much pressure in an area? Not enough activation somewhere? Your body will tell you what it needs. There'll be less cueing from the instructor and this more intuitive part of you. If you keep practicing and keep learning about yourself. And then straighten your body out to plank. You should really start to be warmed up now. And chaturanga, back to the floor. Extend the arms overhead. And we'll go into our alternating Superman. So the left leg will lift up towards the ceiling and the right arm will lift up. And then switch. You can switch arm and leg. And just make sure if the left arm is lifting up, the right leg is lifting up. Opposite arm and leg. Just alternating sides. These are all really active movements. Heart rate will be going up, so really start paying attention to the muscles that are working. Notice if something's starting to get tired. Don't lose that engagement. Give it more of your attention and focus. And rest. So now we'll move into child's pose and catch our breath. Now we'll move into our vinyasa. So come up from your child's pose and push yourself into downward facing dog. Then walk your hands towards the feet into a forward fold. Take your time, being careful. And then bend the knees, inhale, arms up, overhead, exhale, hands to heart center. And then walk all the way up to the top of your mat. And we'll begin our vinyasa. So we'll start in our chair pose. So it's like a squat. Sit your hips back. The weight is a little bit more on your heels. So make sure your weight isn't on your toes. There's not too much pressure on your toes. The knees don't go past the toes. Back is neutral, but the whole spine can be leaning forward a little bit. You just don't want an excessive curvature in your low back, or you don't want your low back to be too flat. Once you feel comfortable and stable, hold that, but then bring the left hand to the outside of the right leg and twist to the right. And then we'll switch sides. Right hand to the outside of the left leg, twist to the left. And let's go side to side. Still in your chair, strong through those legs, and getting a twist. Make sure your twist really comes from the upper back. That's where you get all your mobility, is really in the upper back. The low back doesn't really move that much. And make your way back to center after you've balanced them out. Your hands can come to heart center. We'll step into a lunge. So right leg steps back into our crescent high lunge. Hands will go into a goalpost position, 90-degree angle with your elbow joints. This lunge helps stretch that right hip, so feel the right hip flexor opening. That back heel can be lifting, back leg, back heel lifting up so you're on the toes of that right foot. The front knee is right over the ankle. Spine nice and long. Then we'll move into Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. We don't have a chair this week, so let's try to move into Warrior 3 without the chair. So first thing is to bring your hands back to prayer, heart position. Shift your weight to the left leg, the front leg. Start to just put all your weight into that leg. As you're doing that, you're going to slowly start to lift that back heel even higher, and then onto your toes of that back foot, and then transition smoothly by lifting that back foot off of the ground, only about an inch. Move very slowly, maybe an inch, then to 3 or 4 inches, and just lift it up at your own pace where you feel stable but still challenged. If you like, you can bring your arms overhead or keep them in prayer. To get out of this position, we're going to transition right back to our chair pose. So that right leg drops down right next to the left. Sit back into your chair. And then we'll do it all over again, but with the left side. So the left leg steps back into your lunge. Arms go to that goalpost position. Getting that left hip flexor to open, really engage that left leg. Lengthen through the spine, navel gently draws in. Chest is opening from that goalpost position, neck nice and long. And then we'll move into Warrior 3 on this side. So bring the hands back to heart center. Start to shift your weight to that right leg. As you're shifting your weight to the front leg, the back leg slowly starts to lift up to your comfort. We want to get to where that left leg, the leg that is up, is nice and straight and parallel to the floor. Same with the arms. If the arms are reaching out overhead, your goal is to have the arms parallel to the floor. And with your hips, you want to make sure your hips aren't rotating. Your two hip bones are facing down towards the floor, parallel to the floor. Now that is all really, really challenging, so don't push right into it. It takes time to practice and build. Just like any goal and intention in life, sometimes we don't reach it in the first try. We have to build up strength to get there. Let's move right back to our chair. Drop that leg down into chair pose. And then take your arms and start swinging them forward and back, but the arms will alternate. So if the left is swinging forward, the right is swinging backwards. And just swing them forward and back. Just loosen up, make it feel good. And then stop that swinging. Hands can come to prayer, namaste, and then fold forward into your standing forward bend, Uttanasana. Take a breather here. Did a lot of challenging poses. Check back in, body scan, how are you feeling? Prepare yourself for another couple challenging poses. So we're going to step back into plank. Bring your hands to the floor, step your legs back. Hold your plank. Then drop the knees down. Cross the feet. And then sit your hips back to the floor behind the feet. This is a nice transition, and then come up to your upward facing boat pose. So the legs can be bent, the arms can be resting on the floor. Or the more challenging is bring your arms up, and you can straighten the legs for this boat pose. Really good abdomen workout. Good for the legs, good for your spine. So pay attention to all those parts. Body scan. And then bring the hands back down. Cross the feet. Bring the feet down. Roll back forward into your plank. Downward facing dog. And then walk your feet towards the hands into your standing forward fold, Uttanasana. And that is our flow. So we'll keep doing that. From your forward fold, inhale, arms up, overhead. Exhale, come back to your chair pose. Sit your hips back, a little more weight onto your heels. Then we'll move into the twist. Left arm to right leg, twist open. That right arm reaches up and out, helping you get a little more of a twist, and then switch sides and go back and forth at your own pace. Maybe you need a little faster, or maybe you need to hold the poses a little bit longer. Just pay attention to what you need. Come back to center. Step the right leg back into your lunge, crescent pose. Arms to goal post, chest open, stretching out those hip flexors. Do your body scan. What cues do you need? Moving into our warrior 3, hands to heart center or keep them overhead. Start to weight shift onto that left leg, transition to warrior 3. Pay attention to your body, what you need. Stay in your limits, but with a challenge, but not too much of a challenge. And don't sell yourself short. Find the perfect balance. Find your sweet spot. And transition right back to your chair pose. Drop that leg down, sit those hips back. And then step to the left leg. Into your high lunge, arms into goal pose. Feeling the hip flexor open, paying attention to what your body needs. Transition to Virabhadrasana 3. Weight shift onto that front leg. Slowly lift that back leg up. Pay attention to the legs. What needs to be engaged? Glutes, quads. Don't let your hips rotate. Lift those arms a little higher so they get a little closer up towards your ears. Lengthen through those fingertips. Transition back to your chair. Once we're in chair, alternate swinging those arms forward and back. Legs are probably already tired from that warrior. Hang in there. Strong through those quads. Activate those muscles. Strong through your hips. Strong through your core. Your core is your back and your abs. And then fold forward. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Check in. See how you feel. Take your resting breath here. And then step back to your plank. 2 to 3 ab challenges in a row. This is tough. We're really working into it, so really keep those abs engaged. Pay attention there. Drop the knees down, cross the feet, sit the hips back, transition to that boat pose. Whatever variation you need. If you're getting tired, maybe back out of it. If you want to step up your challenge, straight legs, straight arms. Hold stable. Breathe deeply, don't hold your breath. Then hands back to the floor, feet back to the floor, cross the feet, roll forward back to your plank. Downward facing dog. Walk the hands up in between, or walk the feet up in between the hands, forward fold. And for our last time, we'll move just a little bit faster. So inhale, arms up, come to standing. Exhale, fold back into your chair. Start your twisting. Back to center. Right foot steps back for your high lunge. Goalpost arms. Move into warrior three. Back down to chair. Left foot steps back to your high lunge, goalpost arms. Warrior three. Into your chair, swinging the arms forward and back. Forward fold. Step back to plank. Knees down, cross the feet, sit back for your boat pose. Transition back to your plank. Downward facing dog. And child's pose. Great job. You finished your flow. Let's settle here, catch the breath. And let's push back up into down dog. Extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. And then bring that right knee up in between the hands, and we'll sit our hips down for pigeon. You should feel the stretch in the right hip in the glute area. If your leg doesn't make it all the way down, take a block and put it underneath your hip. You can slowly relax your hands and relax your back. So your forehead is resting on the floor or on your hands or resting on a block. Body scan, check in with how you feel. And lift the head, bring the hands back to the floor. Push yourself back up into a plank, transition to down dog. And then we'll extend the left leg up towards the ceiling first. Then bend that left knee, bring it in between the arms, resting on the floor. Use a prop if you need it under your hips, if you need it under your arms. Start to rest your head, rest your arms, settle into the pose. Check in with what your body is saying it needs. Maybe you need to extend the right leg out a little bit more. Maybe you need to lengthen your spine a little bit more. Maybe you need to soften through your back. Just listen, and your body will tell you. And then we'll come out of that, but we'll stay down. So come sit on your hips and bend your knees so your feet are on the floor. Hands resting on the floor next to you. And then we're gonna gently drop the knees side to side. Now some people will need to lean back a little bit so you're not sitting perfectly upright. Lean back, recline back a little. And drop those knees from side to side. This is working our hip mobility. Hips are rotating outward and inward. And then let's pause on one side and just relax into this. Now, some people, well, everybody has a different type of hip joint. Some people have a lot more motion in one direction than the other, and that is natural, and it's just your bony alignment. So you'll have to pay attention and really discover, is it muscular tightness or is it like a bony block? My bones aren't letting me go that far, and honor that because everybody's different. To challenge yourself a little bit more, you can start to lean forward instead of reclining back. Find what's comfortable and what you're getting a stretch. No pain, no discomfort, just a muscle stretch. And then we'll go to the other side. You can stay reclined back, or you can lean forward. Find that comfortable position for you. Hold and breathe. Body scan. Just listen. And then we'll move into Gomukhasana, our cow face pose. So our hips are warmed up for that. So you'll cross your legs and you want your heels to get kind of as close to your hips as you can. You'll want your knees, ideally the knees should be stacked over each other, but again, everybody has different limitations, whether it's their bony anatomy or tightness. So you'll see as I'm demonstrating, I'm a little tight here, but the goal, if you had the perfect anatomy for it, would be heels to your hips, knees perfectly aligned on top of each other. And then lift the right arm up overhead, or it doesn't matter which side. One arm up overhead and bring the arm behind your back. And then the other arm reaches behind you and try to interlace the fingertips. Keep that top arm, you want that elbow to reach up towards the ceiling without compromising your back or your neck. So you want to stay upright and looking forward. This is a great stretch for your rotator cuff, for your tricep, for your hips. Now let's do the other side. So we'll switch arms and we'll switch legs. Adjust your legs first, get yourself comfortable. And switching arms, interlace those fingers. Upright, gaze forward. A lot of times if your arms don't reach, then people will start to drop their head and look down at the floor. So stay upright. It's just your arms aren't there yet. People will use straps for these. You can use straps, but you can just reach and hold too. And just breathe. Honor your body, whatever it's telling you. And make sure you're hearing it from your body and not your ego. And then gently come out of that. In the seated posture, spread your legs out as wide as comfortable. Toes facing up. This is a great one to put a block, probably blankets or a pillow will be a lot more comfortable than a block. If you find that your low back is kind of rounded and your knees are staying bent, this means a blanket or block is called for. So you're getting a stretch in your inner thighs and in your hamstrings, that's the back of your legs. Bring your hands in front of you. You can have a block underneath your hands too, if you're really tight in the back of the legs. And then we're going to walk the hands further away from us. But before you do so, we lead with your hips. We don't lead with the upper back or the arms. So the first step is your low back, your hips. Your hips will start to tilt forward, but you'll keep a neutral spine. And as your hips lean forward, then you walk your hands further away. Once you feel like your back is starting to compensate, starting to over round, then you've gone as far as your hips will allow. And then you can start to round your back. But you always want to make sure that you lead with your hips first. Then once the hips have gone as far as they can, then you can round the back, relax the head, give yourself as many props as you'd like to make yourself comfortable as we hold this forward fold. When the back rounds, that stretches the back. So we're getting a back stretch, inner thighs, back of the legs. So pay attention, body scan. And breathe every exhale. Imagine the tension just releasing from the muscles. And every inhale, imagine the muscles lengthening just a little bit more. And slowly come back up. I'm going to leave the last pose up to you before we start our relaxation. So I'll just give you about a minute or so. If you want to do legs against the wall, any type of inversion, make it a gentle inversion. I would not recommend like handstands or headstands right now because those are too active, and we just did a bunch of relaxing poses. We're moving into something relaxing. So just listen to your body and see what it is asking for. Once you've done that, grab all of the props that you need for our guided relaxation, our Shavasana. So making sure you're settled into our relaxation pose. For some people, this portion of class is much harder than others. Some people will constantly move and fidget. Those people might have a little more fire built into them. And the people who absolutely love this part might have a little more earth. We're all made up of the elements. And everyone's different. People are different. Yoga, Hatha yoga. Ha is sun, Tha is moon. We have yin and yang, we have hot and cold. We have day and night, winter and summer. People are different, life is different. So don't let those differences hold you back. Everyone is unique, and those unique qualities benefit you in life. The world needs all kinds of people. Otherwise, life would be boring. What would we be here for if everyone was the exact same and everyone was going through the same motions? It's our uniqueness that makes up the world. So those with a lot of fire who have a harder time with this relaxation, you probably need a little more of this. You probably are the ones who skip relaxation, but you really need it more. And maybe those people who absolutely love relaxation, maybe they need a little more of the yoga practice of the movement versus the relaxation. So pay attention to which person are you? And do you really need certain parts of our yoga practice? Are you running from parts that you need? don't be upset with yourself. Remember your uniqueness. The world really needs that unique, different quality. So start to relax now in your uniqueness. You're already whole, you're already perfect. It's just your ego or someone else's ego that makes you think that you're imperfect. So rest in your wholeness now. No one you have to be, nothing you have to do. Just be at peace now. Let the body finally rest. Let the mind start to settle down and just exist in bliss. If the mind starts to take your thoughts to different places, different times, it's okay. Just bring it right back to the stillness. You can do that by paying attention to your breath, giving your breathing the attention, not the thought. Give the inhale and the exhale your attention, not the memory. See if there's any last spot where your body is holding tension. And just exhale that tension away. And breathe in new energy, more nourishment, and give it to that space. And when you're ready, start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Just gently wake the body up just enough to get it sitting into a meditation spot. Don't wake it up too much. Roll to your left side and come up to your meditation seat. Take a moment to make sure that you are fully supported, your hips and your legs. Maybe you need a chair. Whatever gives you the most comfort and stillness. Prepare for that now. So this month's mudra is the Dhyana Mudra. Right hand on top of the left. The thumbs can be touching. Once the mudra is in place and you found your comfortable seat, let's start to settle into this spot. Relax the legs. Relax the feet, the toes, the heels. the calves, the shins, the knee joints, the thighs, the hamstrings. Allow the legs to become heavy and grounded. Relax the hips, the front of the hips, the back, the pelvic floor. Release tension and ground through the hips. Let the hips support the spine and give you that support, that stability. Support yourself. And then lengthen through the spine. The breath makes the torso move freely, but there's a gentle tone and engagement to keep the spine upright. But that engagement doesn't grip or keep you stressed. It's support, it's stability, it's your structure and foundation. Allow it to hold you and support you. And somehow relax into that support. Soften the face, relax the jaw, relax the tongue, relax the shoulders. Let the whole body be still. With every inhale, saying to yourself, so. With every exhale, hum. Continuing our so hum mantra. Inhale so, exhale hum. The mind's attention is on the mantra. The body is supported and still. The breath is smooth and even. If any discomfort arises, exhale it out. Inhale, bring in that support. Make the adjustment and carry on. Now slowly bring your mind a little more outward, releasing the mantra. And look back on your practice. And we'll set an intention. Hopefully you are more aware of something you needed to work on, something you needed to get stronger at, or something you needed to be more supportive of, something you needed to back out of, or something you needed to challenge yourself more in. Whatever it was for you, just set that intention. And imagine that intention is stored away in this ball of light, and put that ball of light in your hand. You can still be in your Dhyana Mudra. And then think about something in life. Just choose one thing that you would like to do better, be better about. Don't think of it as something negative. Like I want to be more compassionate towards people. You want something like that versus I don't want to be mean. Don't have that negative thought in your intention. Have the outcome that you want in that intention. And place that intention with your mind in a ball of light. Place it in your hand. And then bring your hands together like you're holding that ball of light. With an intention, we plant a seed. With any seed, if you overwater it, it won't grow. If you spend every day putting new soil on it, overwatering it, giving it too much nutrition, maybe touching it too much, touching the plant, if you push away the soil and keep checking on the seed, it's not going to grow. There's a balance of working with your intention, with your seed. So we have that intention in our hands. Now slowly lift your arms up and give that intention to the universe. There are endless possibilities in the future. Let the universe, let your higher power decide how it will come. Make sure you're balancing out the care for it. You're not neglecting it, but you're not overwatering it. Without expectations, you just keep your attention on what gives you more growth and leave the universe all of the details. Bring your hands to heart center. And thanks for practicing with me today. Have a great rest of your February. Set intentions. Get yourself more and more aware of yourself. Make the changes, be the changes, and allow the universe to guide you. Namaste.